In 1930, at an unspecified location in the Midwestern United States, Playtime Company opened their doors for the very first time. Their mission was to entertain children all across the world, for their toys to bring happiness and joy to each given child. And this is exactly what they did. Playtime Co. quickly became the most famous and well-known toy manufacturing company of its time. Throughout their early years, Playtime Co. would create many different toys, some more successful than others. However, one toy in particular seemed to stand out, a toy that would quickly become the face of Playtime Co. In 1984, Huggy Wuggy was created. Originally designed as a toy intended solely for providing friendly love and affection through hugging, also including warm and appreciative qualities. This is how he got his name, Huggy Wuggy. He quickly became a huge success and one of the many signature toys of Playtime Co. Huggy Wuggy was different. He was unlike any other toy during this time period. His long body, bright blue fur, and vivid red mouth made him stick out. His long arms allowed him to fully wrap them around you, giving you the most realistic, friendly hug ever from a toy. However, before the creation of Huggy Wuggy, Playtime Co. would experience some drastic changes. Elliot Ludwig, the founder of Playtime Co., would experience a few life-changing events. While married with a child, Elliot would often stay at work after hours in order to achieve his goals. Because of this, his marriage suffered, ultimately leading to his wife divorcing him. Besides his toy empire, the love for his daughter was all he had left. Unfortunately, she would unexpectedly pass away in 1960, leaving Elliot completely alone. However, because of his drive for innovation and the love for his daughter, he devised a plan to get his daughter back. Little did Elliot know, this plan would change Playtime Co. forever. Over the course of many years, Elliot Ludwig started to familiarize himself with the poppy flower, a flower thought to have miraculous life-altering properties. Because of this, he began to experiment with it. Using a live rat, it would be killed and submerged into a poppy flower and preservative gel mixture. A week later, an electric shock was applied to the rat while still in the gel in an attempt to revive it. The rat remained unresponsive. Elliot thought to himself that perhaps something larger than a rat would yield different results. In 1990, the Bigger Bodies Initiative was created. With declining profits and the company's ongoing financial problems, the Bigger Bodies Initiative was proposed to create giant toys to increase the workforce while cutting costs as a potential solution. This was the purpose of the Bigger Bodies Initiative. However, finding people to willingly give their lives would be difficult. Therefore, Elliot Ludwig announced the opening of Playcare, Playtime Co.'s new on-site orphanage. Elliot expressed that a child should never be left unloved and should always have someone to comfort them when they see a monster in their closet. His wish was that Playcare would bring joy, inspiration, and smiles to every child who enters. Although behind closed doors, the plans for Playcare were much more sinister. The company would build game stations to test their orphans, to see if their minds could easily be manipulated. An orphan would be assigned a toy and had to complete 3 mini games. These games would test the child's brain speed, efficiency, reaction time, and physical endurance. As they played these games, scientists monitored their progress from nearby observation rooms. If they did well, the orphan would be sent back to Playcare, where scientists would experiment on them, using poppy gas to transfer their souls into their assigned toy, in some cases even including parts of their human body. However, the procedure had an unintended side effect. The experiments would not remember who they were. One of these orphans would become the Bigger Bodies version of Huggy Wuggy, Experiment 1170. Huggy Wuggy was created with obedient qualities, enabling the Playtime Co. staff to train Huggy to serve as a guardian for the factory during guest visits. He would watch over the kids. His appearance was similar to his plushy counterpart, being a tall, slender creature covered in thick, bright blue fur. His arms and legs are several feet in length with bright yellow hands. Behind his lips are dozens of jagged needle-like teeth, also having a secondary set of jaws located near his throat. Huggy even possesses a digestive system. It is estimated that he is 18 feet tall, weighing 1,795 pounds. Huggy Wuggy was dubbed the most optimal subject, as he possesses the ideal amount of intelligence, as well as being obedient to the scientists working at the company. While walking, Huggy has a stiff yet rather oddly organic looking stride. He is capable of breaking into incredible bursts of speed, using his long arms and legs to propel himself forward. He is even able to bend and contort his body to fit into tight spaces, also being able to sprint on all fours. He has incredible brute strength, capable of damaging and knocking down barriers, including those constructed from metal. On June 18th, 1992, an incident involving Huggy Wuggy occurred. On that night, Experiment 1170 managed to escape from Playtime Co. Two staff members witnessed his swift escape through an open bay delivery door and sounded the alarm, alerting the rest of the company to his escape. He traveled nearly half a mile from the factory before a survival team was even deployed. This shows his extreme speed. One employee was seen driving through the forest in an attempt to catch up with 1170. However, he quickly stopped when he came across the creature wandering around the forest. In an aggressive and swift manner, Huggy rammed himself straight into the car's window shield. This frightened the employee and resulted in him attempting to shoot Huggy with tranquilizer darts. This employee successfully hit Huggy, but died at his hands in the process. After this attack, the security team began to block and surround Huggy at a railroad crossing. Catching up to him, 3 rounds of tranquilizer darts were fired, with one hitting Huggy in his left leg, then escaped back into the forest. The security team then spread outwards on foot into small groups for 4 miles, even extending into nearby residential areas. However, their radios became unreliable as they were outside of the effective zone. Later that same night, an unknown security worker could be seen roaming the woods around 11:34 p.m., encountering a fresh corpse of a deer. They then heard crunching and snaps before Huggy Wuggy appeared, staring down at them ominously. These security workers ended up losing their lives, and even more went missing. It was confirmed that 5 were dead and 6 were still unaccounted for, presumably eaten by Huggy Wuggy. After the worker was attacked, their camera was seen still recording, as Huggy Wuggy can be heard shrieking through the woods. Seconds later, it is confirmed that Huggy Wuggy was caught and brought back to the factory nearly 4 hours after his escape. After the incident, Leith Pierre wrote a document explaining how Huggy escaped the factory through the ventilation system, stating it was only blind luck that he was caught before being seen by anyone. He concluded this document by saying that neither he nor the innovation department were happy regarding what had happened that night. This incident VHS tape ends with Huggy Wuggy looking at the camera while standing in front of a suburban house, presumably his foster home. This would not be the only time Huggy Wuggy would escape confinement. On August 8th, 1995, an emergency warning was broadcasted upon all televisions in the Playtime Co. factory. It was stated for all employees to hide as the experiments rampaged against Playtime Co. This was the hour of joy. Huggy Wuggy was the first to start this attack, being influenced by the prototype to mindlessly kill all of the employees in the main lobby. This was all depicted in the Hour of Joy VHS tape recording. Not only Huggy Wuggy, but most all of the other toys took part in this massacre. The year is 2005. The first time we, as a player, see Huggy Wuggy is in the main lobby. He is appearing as the main attraction for all tourists who engaged in Playtime Co.'s scheduled tours. When we attempt to open a shut door, the power cuts off, and Huggy can be seen with a yellow key hanging from his fingers. This key opens the power room. Upon setting power to the main lobby, Huggy Wuggy is now missing from his podium. Huggy goes on to stalk us as we make our way through the factory. During this time, he can briefly be seen twice. For the first time, his arm is seen sticking out of the door in the Make-A-Friend hallway after the main lobby. He is later seen again in the warehouse, peeking from one of the vents before closing it. In the final act of Chapter 1, we activate the power in the Make-A-Friend room. To progress, we must create our own toy, which serves as a keycard to unlock the sealed door. Once we open this door, Huggy Wuggy emerges from the dark hallway hallway and starts chasing us. Our only escape route from Huggy is through the ventilation shaft. After surviving this chase, we reach a pair of catwalks where Huggy pounds the ventilation door. Our only option is to pull down the wooden crate, which causes Huggy to crash through the door and lunge towards us. However, Huggy ends up under the wooden crate as it was falling, sending him to his death by plummeting into the depths of the Playtime Co. factory. It's thought that this is where the life of Huggy Wuggy ends. However, it would not be the last time we see him throughout the story. Huggy does not make an appearance in chapter 2. However, in the water treatment zone, a vent surrounded by the blood and blue fur can be seen in a specific room, meaning that the prototype most likely took him away to graft him to his body. In chapter 3, Huggy Wuggy makes another return, however in an unfamiliar way. Upon entering Home Sweet Home, we encounter the red smoke. Despite Ollie's warnings, we walk through it and ultimately pass out. Catnap twists Home Sweet Home to be a nightmarish labyrinth filled with unsettling images of children and eerie messages etched into the wood. As we unknowingly wander around the location, we are subjected to the radio recording of a news outlet covering the recent passing of a person in Elliot Ludwig's residency. Towards the end of this nightmare, we reach an unknown nursing room. We find a tape titled Welcome to Playtime that was sitting on a bed. After we take the tape, we place it inside of the VHS player. The tape is used to welcome new employees to Playtime Co. While watching, we see Huggy Wuggy smiling on screen. However, the tape starts to explain our current situation, as Huggy Wuggy's face transforms into an evil smile. During the concluding statement of the tape, it calls out our actions for not being present for the other toys. The voice describes the factory as their world and welcomes us to their home. Suddenly, a nightmarish version of Huggy Wuggy emerges from the TV and begins to chase us. We have no choice but to run for our lives. This monstrous version of Huggy Wuggy briefly chases us through the halls before finally catching us. We suddenly wake up in the real world, laying on the floor. Later on in chapter 3, Catnap knocks us out and puts us through a lucid trance. Using the voice of Poppy, Catnap attempts to persuade us from venturing further into the Playtime Co. factory. Catnap poses questions that are answered vaguely through hallucinations of lively environments prior to the Hour of Joy, showing us joyful children running around Home Sweet Home and the Playhouse. The sequence makes an attempt to put us through the lens of the toys, proving the Hour of Joy to be an event in retaliation to Playtime Co. and their Bigger Bodies initiative. Towards the end of this dream sequence, we find ourselves in a black void with only the presence of Huggy Wuggy staring directly at us. We are then taken to the main lobby yet again, filled with the red smoke and its glass dome shattered open, presumably showing us the perspective of Huggy Wuggy. The prototype reaches down towards Huggy, which can later be called back to the beginning of the Hour of Joy, when Huggy was taken control of by the prototype in order to kill anything on sight. And this is the last time we will see or hear of Huggy Wuggy, at least as of chapter 3. That is the complete history of Huggy Wuggy. Everything we know about him so far, all of the places we have seen him and or heard of him. Huggy is arguably Poppy Playtime's most beloved character that they ever created, so it will be interesting to see if this is the last time we will see or hear of him. Is Huggy Wuggy your favorite character? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, if you want to support the channel more, you can become a member. Don't forget to follow my Twitter at TerrifyT. Thanks for watching.